Let's build your email automations and write some sales emails. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and guides to building out the rest of your funnel, and a link to copy our Systeme.io funnel templates directly into your own free account. So let's go ahead, jump right in. Now, when it comes to the types of email sequences that you should make for your sales funnel, there are a lot of different automations you could do, right? But there are really three that you should consider starting with. Number one is a rapport building sequence. Number two is going to be a customer onboarding sequence. And then number three is going to be your broadcast sequence. And I think these are really the three cornerstones or foundations, if you will. And then after that, you can get complex with your automations after that. But start with these three. So first up, we have your rapport sequence. Now, all your rapport sequence is designed to do is to bring someone who just signed up for your email list some value in the form of delivering that lead magnet in your sales funnel, and then, of course, driving traffic to your sales page. So that's the main sequence you want to focus on here. Then we create a customer sequence, and this is a 3 to 5 email sequence where someone is encouraged to use the product they just purchased, right? And then, of course, we'll also try and get some testimonials during that process and upsell them on a bigger package offer or service. Finally, you have your broadcast list, which technically isn't part of this whole funnel building process, but we need something to do with all the people who purchased your product and went through all the other sequences, and the majority of the people who didn't purchase your product and already went through your rapport building sequence. So we'll go ahead and kick things off with the rapport sequence, since that's the most important. Now, if you want to skip all the strategy, jump straight into Systeme.io. Oh my gosh, I've said that so many times. And then go ahead and here's the timestamp to do that. There we go. So let's go through the rapport sequence strategy now and the 5 emails you should start with. So the whole goal of the sequence is to empathize with your new leads and subscribers' experiences, expand on what they are dealing with, and then of course, energize them to take action. And when we do, we're going to do these 3 things through 5 emails. So the first email we send out is pretty simple and standard. We're just going to deliver the lead magnet that they opted in for. Link in the cards in the description to a video that goes through all the different lead magnet ideas you might want to use. So of course, once we deliver that lead magnet, we have their email address. So we want to drive them to our sales page, which is the whole point of this whole funnel building thing, right? And so the next 4 to 6 emails, you're going to be sending them to your sales page. So each one of these emails we're about to talk about link to the sales page. This is all about your paid offer. So email number 2 in the sequence is going to be the big roadblock that they face. And here we want to empathize with their experiences, their situation, say, hey, you know what? I totally understand that you're dealing with this, you're dealing with that, and you may have tried these other things in the past that haven't worked. And the best way to structure this email is to say, hey, you've tried all these things, you've experienced all these things, and I'm here to tell you that you're succeeding because of an industry myth, or you're exceeding beep. Okay, back on track. They're not succeeding because of an industry myth or a lie that they've been told. So we want to remove the responsibility of their inability to achieve the results that they're looking for. And of course, you're going to present the solution or the better way or the actual way to break through the roadblock and overcome their current experiences. Check out the paid offer, and that's going to be what your link will link to, the paid offer or the sales page, right? Okay, I'm talking over myself. Let's go to email number 3. So for email number 3, it's going to be a hero story of success. So if you have testimonials, you're going to want to go through a story of someone being successful. That's why it's called hero story of success. So it could be your own story. It could be a story of your client. It could be a story of a previous customer, or you could be pointing to someone who's known in your niche or industry and say, hey, this is how I think they achieved the success that they ultimately achieved, right? And so the whole point of this email is to show someone in a similar situation to them was able to achieve those results. And of course, your paid offer, checking out the sales page, is going to help them get there faster, easier. right? So then email number 4 here is going to be benefits are closer than you think. So we've gone through 2 emails where we've been pretty negative, right? We've been talking about how all this stuff is in their way and they might have been lied to, and how there are other people who have found success even in their situation as well. And so now we want to be a little more positive and start really energizing them to take action. And we're going to do this by talking about how the results that they're looking for, or the feelings or startings of the results that they're looking for, are just around the corner. It's not, weeks or months or years away. You know what? The success that they are looking to achieve can start today. Now, obviously, we can't say you're going to get all your results by next week. Just buy this product, right? Because that's pretty much impossible. But what we can say is we can pick out what success looks like at the beginning of that journey and talk about that. We're going to say, you know what, by the end of next week, with running your Facebook ads campaigns, you're not going to be, wasting a bunch of ad spend anymore. Or, you know what, you're going to start to actually see some results around your waistline in, the next couple of weeks, or whatever it might be, right? We're not talking about the big solution or the big problem that they're trying to solve. We're just looking at what can we talk about that's right around the corner to just kind of give them some encouragement, encourage them to actually start taking action and going down that journey that will lead to the ultimate success that they are looking for. And then finally, we're going to go back to negativity, because negativity ultimately sells. And this is going to be magnifying the mess, right? So we're going to talk about the problems of inaction. So we're going to expand on everything that could go wrong if they don't take action now, how much harder it's going to be in the future, or how the opportunity that's in front of them might actually be missed if they don't take advantage of it right now. And that's all there is to it, to your rapport building sequence. And of course, if someone doesn't buy, they'll be moved over to your broadcast sequence, which we'll get to in 2 sections. But next, we want to talk about what do we do with the people who just purchase from us, right? What do we do with people who actually become our customers? And this is going to be your customer onboarding sequence. Now, if you're using something like Systemi.io or Teachable or Thinkific or pretty much anything else out there, Kajabi or even ClickFunnels, most of what the first email they're going to get when they buy, getting tongue twisted, is going to be an automated message from that system to set up their account, right? So if you are using any sort of membership software, most of the time you can't control those emails. So these emails are going to be the ones you can control, and we're going to focus on getting them to actually use whatever they just purchased, right? Because we need them to use what they purchased so that they get value, so that the next time we pitch an offer, they're actually more inclined to buy it, because if they didn't use the last one, they're less likely to buy the next one, right? So let's go ahead and go through this sequence. First, we have the welcome email. So we're going to recap what they're about to experience, what they're going to be able to do now that they have the paid offer. We're essentially future pacing here, saying, you know what, the results really are just around the corner, just like what we did with the rapport sequence. Instead, we're encouraging them. We're saying, hey, you've got everything you need. Let's go ahead and get started. Results are just around the corner. So that's all you're doing with the welcome email. You have a little bit of information in there just in case they didn't get that automated message, and maybe a link to whatever your support is, right? If you have support. Then in email number 2, this is day number 2 of your product, we're going to talk about enjoying results, right? So you want to choose 2 to 3 key deliverables or things that your offer allows them to do, and encourage them to use the offer to do those results within the next couple of days or next couple of weeks. And so again, we're just pumping them up. This is a bunch of positivity. They just purchased from you. We want them to feel really good and actually start taking action, right? Because the more action that they take and the more they use your product and the more they find results, the happier customer they're going to be, and the more likely you are to get a testimonial out of this next email, which is breaking roadblocks. So you want to choose 2 to 3 things that you know might be going on in the back of their head, right? Because everyone has self-doubt. So you want to address those things, and you want to address that some of this journey really is going to be difficult. As much as your course or your digital product or your physical product helps them achieve what they're looking for, there is some work involved here. And so go ahead and include whatever roadblock or kind of a negative emotion they might be feeling in the self-doubt category, and address that and encourage them. And then in the second part of this email, you're going to want to ask for a testimonial. And the way you do this is you can just simply ask them how they think it's been going so far. Like, what have they liked about the course? What have they not liked about the course or digital product? So you're asking for general feedback. And of course you get positive and negative, and the negative is how you improve your product, and the positive is a testimonial. Awesome, just like that. And of course, if you want to outright ask for testimonials, then you can do that at the end of this sequence. But I wouldn't ask for a testimonial in the first 3 days. Just ask for feedback, and you'll get some good quotes and sound bites that you can use inside of your sales messages. Now, these next two emails are optional. Emails. Oh no. These next two emails are optional, and there's a bit of a delay before you send them out. So here, if you have some sort of big ticket item in terms of you have an implementation done with you implementation program, or you have any sort of service, then you can use these next two emails to seed the benefits of those services. And these are designed to get someone on a strategy call with you. So if that's not a part of your funnel, it's not a part of your sales process, you can go ahead and skip these two emails. But that's what these last two are designed to do, essentially upsell them onto something that is much bigger ticket, much more expensive, and actually try and get them on the phone to close the deal. So that does it for your customer onboarding sequence. Now we're ready for the broadcast sequence, which is what everyone eventually gets dropped into. So no matter what they purchase or don't purchase or opt in for, eventually all of your rapport sequences, your customer onboarding sequences, any shopping cart abandonment sequences, upsell, downsell sequences, how many times can I say that in sequence in the same sentence? After all that, what do? Right? They went through everything, they bought, they didn't buy, what do? We send them broadcast emails. So 2 to 3 times a week, you're going at least 2 to 3 times a week, you want to go ahead and email your list some sort of email. Now, that's really broad. Like, really, is that the strategy? Just email them some sort of email? Well, we do want to be strategic here. So every 3 to 4 emails, we'll have some sort of promotion, whether it's another offer, another lead magnet to get them into another funnel, or it's just an affiliate offer. We want to alternate between giving real value, which is essentially just saying, hey, there's this awesome piece of content, or sharing something like an aha moment. So these, what you're looking at now, are all examples of different types of emails that you could send to add value to your subscriber's life, right? So essentially we're just creating a evergreen newsletter here, and you can either set this up as an evergreen sequence, which is really, really difficult, or you could just time block some time each week to write up a couple of these emails to promote your current content, share any sort of personal story, and of course, commentary on current developments in your niche is a great thing to do as well. So all of these ideas are things to just keep your connection with your subscribers, right? Because I can tell you from personal experience, when you don't email people for 6 months or a year, and then you try and email them, you're gonna get a lot of spam complaints because they totally forgot who you were and they just don't wanna hear from you anymore. So make sure that you go through this process at least a couple emails a week. And of course, when you go through other trainings, some people say email them every day, some people email multiple times a day. You'll find what works best for your subscribers and your audience, but a couple of times a week. And you'll see here email number 4, the roadblock. That's the type of email I recommend when you're doing any sort of promotion. So just talk about a problem or a roadblock, similar to what you did in your rapport sequence, and you can segment people out for that particular paid offer or affiliate offer. So that's all there is to it, to your 3 sequences. Go ahead and comment below if you have any questions. Here's the timestamp to skip ahead to systeme.io to actually setting up all these rules and automations. I want to quickly talk about how we actually make these emails, right? Because it's one thing to go through and be like, okay, this email should be about that, and this email should be about this. But what do we do when it comes to actually writing out the email? So here is a simple formula I like to use, and I like using story. So we're gonna call this the E4 story sequence, right? We're going to create some curiosity. We're going to use a hook to get someone to keep reading the email. We'll use story to actually communicate whatever lesson or benefit, feature, roadblock, result we're talking about. And then of course, in the latter part of the email, we'll have a clear call to action. So here's an example email that we have. So we have a couple of headlines, and these are all based on curiosity, right? And sometimes you can get away with making headlines like this, where you're insinuating that you looked at something on their site or something in their particular instance, and these can get a lot of clicks. You do have to be careful with these, because if they're a little too personal or a little too edgy, you can also get a lot of spam complaints where people go, "There's no way you know that," and they'll just get upset. But anyway, let's go ahead and go through this. So I'll go ahead and start off with the hook, which is the first part of our email. 43 minutes and 23 seconds in. My palms are starting to get sweaty. I got this from that silly Eminem song, right? Up until this point, I've been calm, but I'm coming to the hard part. The part I never know exactly what to do or how to do it. It's been almost a year and I still can't get over this hurdle. So when you're creating your story, you actually want to start at the height of the story, right? Of the climax or the roadblock that you're ultimately going to solve. So someone could read this and go, "Oh yeah, I've been on sales calls and I've gotten nervous sometimes." And so it's very general, right? We don't really know what part of the call we're being nervous about. And of course, if someone has never been on a sales call, they're going to read this and go, "Yeah, this email is not for me." And then they'll just exit out. That's totally okay. So then we back up a little bit and we set it up. I'm on my third sales call of the day, and this happens every dang time. It's just 90 seconds away. I can feel it. The question I never know how to answer. So we started with the climax. We didn't have a lot of context, so we give a little bit of context, and then we jump straight into what happens right after the climax, which is the roadblock, right? How much do you charge? Gulp. Will I get it right this time? Unfortunately, most of the time I get it wrong. Really wrong. Some calls ended in a high-ticket sales. Others ended with a sense of dread for the low price I'd settled for. So here we're talking about the roadblock. This is the big pain point, the mistake or experience people might be struggling with when they're trying to get people close new clients on a phone call. And then we go into the solution. It was out of, whoops, that's in the way. It was out of the frustration of my cowardice that I created a simple system for pricing. I carefully formulated structure to keep me confident and profitable with every client, right? And then, of course, this is introducing the solution, and the call to action is, of course, to check out the video. Now, of course, as a sales email, the video would, of course, be on the sales page and your sales letter or video sales letter or webinar or whatever you wind up using. Of course, I still recommend just doing a quick 5-minute video for your VSL. This will be something that's addressed in that video. Wow, I'm getting overly excited. And then in the PS section is just another call to action. And so with that, you have everything you need to set up your sequences, write your emails. So let's jump into Systemi.io and start building out our sequences. So before we get into all the tags you're looking at here, here's a quick diagram of the tags I recommend setting up and how they should be triggered across your funnel. So I'll link up in the description, of course, to our sales funnel playbook that has all of these clearly laid out for you, so you don't have to worry about memorizing them right now. But this is the structure that we're going to use for all of our tags. Now, when it comes to setting up your tags inside of Systemi.io, you do have a limit on the free plan. So I don't recommend creating all 7 of these because you're going to use up way too many of your tags. So I recommend starting with a lead tag, setting up a customer tag, and then setting up a general broadcast list tab. So just set up 3. So to add a new tag, all we need to do is click on Add New Tag here, and I'll go ahead and give our tag a name. Let's say we're doing General Broadcast List. So I'm going to call it GBC, or General Broadcast for short. I'm going to say this is demo, and then in the brackets say all. And then I'd go ahead and click on Save. I'd add a tag one more time, and I'll go through my naming convention in a bit because it probably makes no sense right now. And let's say we have FC and we're doing our lead sequence, right? So I recommend coming up with a 3-letter code for your funnel, right? So in this particular instance, we're doing an example. So this is FC, hashtag or pound sign, hashtag pound sign, whatever you want to call it, right? So 3 letters, and then you use this when you make your funnel pages, when you're organizing your internal files in Google Drive or SkyDrive or Box or Dropbox, whatever you're doing. And so I use this so that every time I make anything for this funnel, I use the same 3-letter code so I know exactly what funnel it's for. As an example, when I reference in the description to our sales funnel playbook, our funnel code for that is SFP. So Anytime I see SFP, I know exactly what funnel it's referring to. And then in brackets, I'm going to say lead, right? So we'd go ahead and make lead. And then one more time, we'd go ahead and we would make one for customer. So this is going to, oops, not upsell, customer. So those are the three I'd recommend starting with, because those are the three that are essential to setting up and running your funnels effectively. You can set up other ones in the future, of course, but when you're using the free plan of Systemi.io, there's no sense in using up all your tags when you don't have to, right? So we'd go ahead and click save. I'll click on exit. And now we're ready to set up our rules. So to set up our rules, we'll come over here to funnels. You can also set up rules and automations, but I just find it easier to use our funnels. So I'll go ahead and use our funnel template here, our demo F62, and we will start on our landing page. So we'll click on automation rules, click on add rule, funnel form step subscribed or page viewed. So we'll say step subscribed, add action, and add a tag. So choose a tag, and we need lead, right? So we'll select lead, and we'll click save rule. So now every time someone enters their email, name and email or email on our landing page, Systemi.io will tag them as a lead for this funnel. Now we'll get to setting up the automations and workflows in a moment. So we'll just go through the rest of our funnel here. So of course you don't need anything for your thank you page or your sales page, but you do want something for your checkout page, right? So we'll come to automation rules, add rule, new sale. So we'll click on new sale here, and we will add a action. We're going to add a tag. So we need to add customer, right? So this is our customer. We'll click on save rule. I'll come back in here. And then we need to remove a tag. So when someone buys, they should be pulled out of the lead sequence, right? We don't want to keep sending them emails about buying something they already bought, right? So we'll go ahead and remove a tag, and we'll come in here to lead. So we'll remove lead, and we'll click save rule. Nope, come on. Lead. For some reason, it doesn't think I am, oh, because I messed up here. This is supposed to be customer. Add a tag, customer, lead, save rule. Apologize for that, but I don't know how I got that mixed up. That's what happens when you talk and do it at the same time. So whatever tag you add on your landing page, if someone buys, it should be taken off on your checkout page. Now, as a little advanced strategy here, we go back. We can also create a shopping cart abandonment sequence. So this is not something you'd set up now, but in the future, you'd click funnel step subscribed, add action, add a tag. And again, link in the description of the playbook that has all the lists of tags out here, abandon, and click save rule. So you can actually set up a separate sequence. If someone goes to your checkout page, they start the checkout process, and then for whatever reason, they just stop, right? They don't finish. Life happens, right? They got distracted, their computer died, the coffee shop closed, whatever it was, right? And so you can set up a special sequence just for those people because you know they were about to buy, right? So that's something that you can do. And if you do set up that special sequence, then we'd come over here, add action, remove tag, and I'm going to stop typing in because it just doesn't like that. We'll say abandon, right? And so this way, anytime someone purchases, we tag them as a customer and we remove their abandonment tag and their lead tag. I wish it was in the same order. That's a little confusing. Now, I'll quickly go through upsells, right? So if you have any upsells, however many upsells you have, we'll come here to automation rules again, add a rule, and we'll just say new sale. And we'll click action, add a tag, and we'll go ahead and call it FA demo up 1, save rule. And one more time for good measure. Hopefully you're not getting too bored with this. New sale, add action, add a tag, and upsell 2, save rule. So that way, anytime someone takes any action inside of our funnel, they are tagged or a tag is removed. Now, you do have the option when you add an action, you can send a specific email, you can enroll them in a course, and you can also use campaigns. I just personally like using tags because tags allow you to have a lot more control over how people interact with your different sequences and funnels. Although there are some other great tutorials here on YouTube that say just use the campaign. And if you're only going to have a couple funnels, that's probably fine. But I like I like spacing things out as if we're just going to have a massively successful wild business there. Okay, anyway, that was completely useless, and I'm just talking over myself now. So now that we have all our tags set up, we have our rules. Now it's time to create our automations. Make sure our emails actually go out. So we'll come over here to automations and we'll click on workflows. So we'll create a new workflow. I'm going to name our workflows after our tag. So pretty much each tag is going to have some sort of workflow. So we'll go ahead and click on create here, and then we can come into edit it. And we need to tell Systemi.io when do we start this workflow. So we'll create our first trigger, and our first trigger is going to be on a tag. So we'll add a tag here, and of course it's going to be lead, and we'll click on create, and there is our tag. So if we wanted to use this sequence for more than one funnel, and we had multiple funnel tags, well then we could just come in here, tag added, and say when someone is added like this, gets this tag, they should also be added to this sequence. So I'll go ahead and X that out. So I like automations because it gives you a lot of control, and they're kind of fun to play with. All right, maybe that's just me as a marketing geek. So the next thing we need to do is immediately send them their lead magnet, right? They just opted in on a landing page, give them what they asked for, right? So we'll go ahead and have an action, and we are going to send an email. Now you can click from your drop-down list here, or you can create a new one. So I'm going to select from this drop-down. I'll click choose and edit. And then here is where you're going to be able to edit your email. So I'm a huge fan of using plain text emails. And if you want to use the editors, you have the ability to do that. I'll show you what that might look like in a moment. So we have our subject line. You can, of course, include substitutes here, where if you collected extra information for some reason, you can include that in your email. Again, when it comes to landing pages, just less is more. Just collect their email, and you can always start the email just hey, right? So this is going to be the message that we deliver our lead magnet in. And you can actually add it as an attachment. So you can go ahead and just upload your PDF or whatever the file is right here. Or if you're using Google Docs or Google Slides or spreadsheets or whatever, you can also just go ahead and hyperlink. So if we wanted to hyperlink, let's say this was going to be our link here, we'd go ahead and highlight that. And then we could go and click on this link element and then tell Systemi.io where you want it to go. So we'll go ahead and click on cancel there, and we'll go ahead and save and exit. Then we need to add a delay, right? So this is going to be where we start setting up the rest of our rapport sequence. So we'll go ahead and click on here, and we'll just select delay, 1 days, and click on create. Then we can go select again, action. Don't worry, I'm only going to do this twice. You're going to get real bored of this real quick. Send an email, and let's go ahead and create a new one this time. So we'll create a new one, and we'll say break the roadblock, which is what we ultimately are trying to do here. So I'm just going to call this F62, so I know this was a demo in the future. And then, of course, we could go ahead and drop in our text. So let's say we have all this text. We'll just go ahead and drop this in as an example. And then, of course, we don't want it bold. And just go ahead and edit all of the formatting as you see fit. Go ahead and drop in your links. Make sure that you test your links. You can also send test emails as well. So you just want to make sure that you test all your emails before they go out. So I did misspeak earlier. The disadvantage of doing things this way is they do need to be plain text emails, although I'm a huge fan of using plain text emails as opposed to the editor. So we'll go ahead and click on save here. And then, of course, we're going to need to add another delay for 1 day. So I'll go ahead and through the magic of editing, all of our emails are all set, good to go. So we'll go ahead and click on the blue plus button here, and we will add an action and apply a tag. So this is what's going to happen at the end of our sequence. We want to apply them the general broadcast tag. And so we click on create. So this way, when we're sending out our broadcast emails, we just click the broadcast tag, and everyone who's on our broadcast list gets the email, right? And this also makes sure that you aren't sending broadcast emails to people who just joined your email list and are currently going through a rapport building sequence, because we don't want to distract from the sales process that we've started. Of course, you can actually get pretty ninja where you start taking people on and off the broadcast sequence, but that's a video and guide for another day. So we'll go ahead and exit here because it automatically saved. and we need to create one more sequence. So I'll quickly go through the customer onboarding sequence because we need to add and remove tags. So we'll go ahead and call it customer, click on create, and then we'll go ahead and jump in here to edit it. Now the trigger, of course, instead of, we're still going to add a tag, and then we need to say that when someone is tagged as a customer, this sequence should start. But then we also, and this is just to, as a double check, right? It's not going to hurt you, but action, we also want to remove a tag. And so we're going to remove the lead tag. And one of the main reasons that you want to do this is just in case you forget to do something somewhere else, you kind of have this backup, right? So even if you forget to set it up properly in your funnel, or you make a new funnel, because every time you duplicate a funnel, the automations go away and you have to set them all up all over again. Even when that happens, you now have the security here of removing this tag. And of course, if you were using multiple funnels for one product, you could just go ahead and add removing multiple lead tags to make sure no one is tagged incorrectly. And then of course, you'd go through the exact same process we just went through when it came to setting up your rapport sequence. So I'll just go ahead and click on exit, and your sequences and workflows are all set and good to go. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. Most importantly, you're a lot more confident when it comes to what kinds of email sequences to set up, how to write your emails, and of course, how to use systemi.io for free to automate your funnel emails. So make sure you check out that link in the description to grab a copy of our funnel playbook that has all the automations and recommended tags, as well as copies of our full funnel page templates that you can copy for free for yourself into your own account. So hit that like button, subscribe for more guides just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.